Hello, ninth standard CBSE children. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Today we are going to do video number 10, chapter 6, plant tissues. Chapter 6 is our tissues lesson where it is about plant tissues and animal tissues. Earlier 3 videos we have learnt about animal tissues and now we are going to do plant tissues. I hope you are ready. Now what is the tissue we said? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. A group of cells forming the tissue and a group of tissues which are doing similar structure and which are having similar structure and doing the function, they are called tissues. I hope you understand. Then again, like that of animal tissues, plant tissues are also arising as unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular, they are lowermost plant organisms as algae. What example we have learnt? It is Chlamydomonas. I hope you know the spelling. It is Chlamydomonas. But this Chlamydomonas, it is unicellular algae. It is a name of an algae. Chlamydomonas unicellular algae. Right? Whereas multicellular, it is Spirogyra and all other higher plants. Multicellular, Spirogyra and all other higher plants. I hope you understand this. Now as we know, first a group, single cell. Okay, and this single cell will form a group of tissues like this, and then it is forming an organ. I hope you follow this. So this is cell for leaf. These are tissues, and then this is a leaf. Okay, now what are the parts of the plant? As root, stem, leaf, flower, fruits and seeds. I hope you know this. 6th standard lesson, even 4th standard lesson. These are right. Parts of the plants are root, stem, leaf, flower, fruits and seeds. In that every one, this root system, in that a single root, and then shoot system like stem, leaf, they are all forming organ. And these organ all together, what are all? Root, stem, leaf, flower, fruits and seeds. All these organs, they form a whole plant. I hope you understand. Now like that of animal tissues, now these plant tissues are also differentiated into different kinds. That is what plant tissues. I hope you understand. So now these plant tissues, just to recollect, as I said, for unicellular organism, in amoeba as animal tissue, in plants also the unicellular organisms are present. So now it is given, in unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions. In unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions. For example, in zoology, in animal, it is amoeba. Amoeba, a single cell, carries out movement, intake of food and respiratory gases through respiration and excretion. Whereas in multicellular, there are millions of cells. I hope you recollect that what you have learnt for animal tissues. Okay. Now most of these cells are specialized to carry out a few functions. What we have learned? Division of labor. All that similar to that of animal tissues. Only thing, now we are going to learn about plant tissues as video number 10, plant tissues 1. Right? Animal tissues we have learned as 3 parts. Part 1, animal tissue with the epithelial tissues, muscular, nervous and blood tissue. And for next video, we have learnt as animal tissues part 2, we have learnt about connective tissues, right? And then as part 3 animal tissues, we have learnt all that textbook content we have just discussed. Same way, this plant tissues also we are going to learn in this separate parts. So now this we are talking about multicellular organism, division of labor. I hope you remember. So now in plants, vascular tissues conduct food and water from one part of the plant to other parts. Here vascular tissues, they are xylem and phloem. Xylem conducts water and mineral salts and phloem conducts food material. So multicellular organism show division of labor. I hope you understand. So the cluster of cells called tissue arranged in cluster of cells called tissue is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Highest possible efficiency of function. So this is for introduction as unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay. Whereas this tissues again, when we talk about plant tissues, it is as group of cells. Just now I said about unicellular and multicellular. Then group of cells positioned and designed to perform a particular function. A group of cells positioned and designed to perform a particular function is called a tissue. This is a definition for tissue. Okay. An organ is a structure made up of collection of tissues. So first cell, then tissue. This is forming organ. Right. So here it is given an organ is a collection of. It is a structure made up of collection of tissues that carry out specialized function. Example, in plants, root, stem and leaves are the organs. Leaf, stem and leaves are the organs. I repeat, root, stem and leaves are the organs, whereas xylem and phloem are tissues. Same way, next we will study about the other type of tissues. Okay. Same way, animals enna padichom? Stomach padichom illaya. Stomach is an organ and the epithelial cells are forming the tissues. I hope you understand. So this is for the arrangement or how it is arising as tissues. Now these plant tissues, they are broadly classified into plant tissues. They are broadly classified into meristematic tissue, and permanent tissues. These plant tissues, they are broadly classified into meristematic tissue and permanent tissues. Okay. Now these meristematic tissue, they are further as apical meristem, intercalary meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Whereas this permanent tissue, it is as permanent tissues, it is as simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So yeah, now this simple permanent, they are further as parenchyma, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissue. I repeat, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissue. It is simple permanent tissue. Okay. Whereas this complex permanent tissue, they are as xylem and phloem. Complex permanent tissue, they are xylem and phloem. This is the classification. I am writing in green because we are talking about plant tissues, green in color. I hope the board is visible. Can you? Right. So first one, meristematic tissue. The cells which are actively dividing, they are called meristematic tissue. The cells which are present in the plant parts and shows active division, they are known as meristematic tissues. Normally, what do we know? We say plant grows. It's not. How do we identify the growth of the plant? We could find that the height of the plant will be rising. Is it not? Same way, root system, just from a small primary root, it will start growing into secondary root and tertiary roots in taproot system. And in fibrous root system, a cluster of roots will be arising. I hope you remember this taproot system and fibrous root system. We have learnt in 6th standard. Remember? So that way we find the growth. So now we say the growth of the plants. The region where growth can be identified, that regions are called meristematic region. Otherwise we say the root tip and the stem tip. The stem tip naga நம்ம வந்து shoot apex னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, the stem tip, it is called shoot apex. This is known as shoot apex. Shoot apex. So suppose I say I am holding a small twig. So what I am holding with the stem. So the tip of this end of the portion, it will grow. It grows. Is it not? So this portion is this. I hope you understand. So in this region, we find apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. And the actively dividing cell. We say every cell, mitosis, meiosis படிச்சோம்ல, fundamental unit of life. அதுல in plant cell, the growth is taking place by mitotic division. So a cell which is dividing by mitosis into two. Like that, the number of cells will be dividing. I hope you understand. So that region, say for example, I'll show you this root tip region. This is the root tip region. Okay, stem tip nahi kaatla, but this is easy for us. So now we find this is the region of cell division. This is the region of cell division. The root has main apopolia, that is, and it undergoes cell division by mitosis. Okay, and then this cell, as the cell divides, two cells are forming, yeah. So here this is region of cell multiplication. Region of cell multiplication. ஏன் ஒரு செல்லும் ரெண்டா போகுது. Okay, so this is region of cell multiplication. Then as this multiply, it starts elongating, that is region of elongation. That is region of elongation, and then region of maturation and region of maturation. So till this maturation, it is forming a young tissue that is called meristematic tissue. I hope you understand. And there are characteristic features of meristematic tissue. The characteristic features of meristematic tissue. As enala chalala characteristic feature meristematic tissue. Can I guess anything? First, note down. First, they are living cells. Meristematic tissues are living cells. Then the cells may be small, oval, spherical in nature, and it may be polygonal in nature. So I am drawing this. So it may be of any shape, as oval or spherical or polygonal in shape. Then they are thin-walled with dense cytoplasm. These cells are thin-walled with dense cytoplasm. Okay, and with the large nuclei and no vacuum. Characteristic feature: no vacuum. 1 minute. So this meristematic tissue, they have characteristic features as cells are living in nature. So I say cells are living, and the size, they are small. It may be oval, spherical or polygonal. Small, spherical, oval or polygonal in shape, right? And the cells are thin-walled. Cells are thin-walled with cytoplasm and large nucleus. Cytoplasm and large nucleus, and no vacuole will be present. Why so? Normally, plant cells, they are characterized by the presence of large vacuole. But in this meristematic cell, the vacuoles are absent. If at all, ரொம்ப rare. Okay, and this they have small vacuole or no vacuole at all. Then they undergo mitotic division. They undergo mitotic division, and they will not store any food material. No storage of food material. Okay, so I write large vacuole, small vacuole, large nucleus, and no storage of food material. No storage of food material. No storage of food material, and it divides by mitosis. It divides by mitosis. Okay, so these characteristic features you should know. Enala cells are living. Cells are living. Then cells are living. Their size small. Shape may be oval, spherical, polygonal in nature, and the cells have thin wall with cytoplasm, large nucleus and small vacuole, and then it will not store a food material, and it undergoes mitotic cell division. I hope you understand. So that is for the characteristic of another meristematic tissue. Now, this meristematic tissue, they are present in the root tip. And then shoot tip. Okay. Now, in the shoot tip, this apical meristem is present. Shoot tip region, apical meristem. I hope you follow this. And then this will be nodes and this will be the leaf arising, yeah, the region. Like this. So this region will be intercalary meristem. These are intercalary meristem, right? And then on the lateral walls, the lateral meristem will be present. I hope you follow. So this is the position of the meristematic tissue: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. Apical meristem will be present at the root tip and the shoot tip. And in the shoot system, this apical meristem, it is found at the apex or growing points. Apex na tip. Apex or growing points of root and shoot, and bring about increase in length. Height of the plant is done by apical meristem. I hope you follow. Then the intercalary meristem, it lies between region of permanent tissues. Permanent tissues, we are going to learn about parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. I hope you understand. So it lies between the region of permanent tissues and this part of primary meristem. Primary meristem is either. And it is found at the leaf base and base of the internode. Leaf base on the pinus natal solid, base of the internode in the region. Base of the internode. The space between the two nodes is called internode. Yeah? So example, grass. Grass la intercalary meristem will be present. I hope you understand. Then lateral meristem, they are arranged parallel to each other. Lateral meristem, they are arranged parallel to each other, and they are meant for elongation and secondary growth of the plant. Otherwise, it is said it increases the thickness of the stem, girth of the stem. That is, it increases the thickness of the stem. Are you clear? So this is for the lateral meristem. So now this meristematic tissue, again in our textbook it is given here. In our textbook, this is the apical meristem, intercalary meristem, lateral meristem. Are you clear? So we say apical meristem is present at the growing tip and roots and increases the length of stem and root. And the girth of the stem or root is increased due to lateral meristem. The lateral meristem is also forming the cambium. In the continuation of the video session, like that of animal tissue, we have picture presentation. Like cambium picture. Intercalary meristem is the meristem at the base of the leaves and internodes on the twigs. And then as characteristic, as it is said, cells are very active. The living cells, they have dense cytoplasm. The cell wall material is cellulose with the prominent nucleus. In our textbook is given it lacks vacuole, but normally very small vacuole will be present. And they do not store food material, and they undergo the division by mitosis. Okay. And our textbook, here it is a experiment given, right? Now it is a glass tumbler with the water, and you take small onion, chinna vengayam, that you take with the roots like this, that you keep it in water so that the roots will be in touch with the water. Allow it to settle for 2-3 hours at 1 day. After some time, we find the root tip will be swollen. The process imbibition. Okay, and then the tip of the root, you make a small cut. You take a section which root. That we find. நம்ம இப்போ ரெட்டை போட்டு காமிச்சது அழிச்சிட்டேன். ரெட்ல போட்டு காமிச்சதுல root tip region that will be seen with the many mitotic division. I hope you follow. So that root tip region will be seen very clearly. I hope you understand. So that is for the that is for the experiment activity meristematic tissue, where it shows growth of root in onion bulb. I hope you understand. Then next one, just to go through panna. Idella plant tissues classification or notion go through panna. Varshapar and the characteristics of meristematic tissue 5 points irukku. Nama bookla line by line irukku. I have made it as points. That you please refer to the PDF that is sent to you and then go through that. And then LS of shoot கொடுத்திருக்கு. And the labeling you just see. Follow the diagram with the whiteboard diagram. Understand. Can you? The next one, it is for meristematic tissue. The next one about permanent tissues. The cell, the meristematic tissue, after maturation, it is differentiating into group of tissues, and they are called permanent tissues. And these permanent tissues, they are classified as simple permanent and complex permanent tissues. As the name says, simple permanent tissues, it is as 1 minute. I say this will be forming a simple permanent tissues. It is like this. And it will have intercellular spaces. Diagrammatically, when we do, it may be spherical, polygonal, like this. Sorry, the overlapping parabola. And the tissues will be like this. Right? So it will have nucleus and cytoplasm. Can you see this? So now what you are seeing is the simple permanent tissues. In that first one, what this is the parenchyma. What you are seeing now, it is a parenchyma tissue. Now we are going to learn about characteristic features of parenchyma tissue. Now the cells are thin-walled. Parenchyma tissue. The cells are thin-walled. 1 minute. The cells are thin-walled with the cytoplasm and nucleus, and vacuole will be present, and there will be intercellular spaces. Can you see this space? These are all intercellular spaces. The space in between the two cells. Intercellular spaces. So first, they are living cells. They are living cells. They have intercellular spaces, intercellular spaces, okay, and then the cell wall material is cellulose. Cell wall material is cellulose and hemicellulose. Okay? And this parenchyma tissue, it gets different name depending upon its location. Now, wherever we find in plant parts, all the tissues, they are parenchyma tissue. But it gets different name based on its location. Okay? So now the first formed tissue which is differentiating from the meristematic, it is a normal parenchyma tissue. Right? Now when this tissue, it is filled with chloroplast, when it is filled with chloroplast, it is called chlorenchyma. When it is filled with chloroplast, it is called chlorenchyma. Right? Now when it has more air spaces in like that of aquatic plant, these are all cells. Okay? These are air cavity. These are all air cavity or air spaces. So that time it is called parenchyma. That time it is known as parenchyma. So first form it is parenchyma, and then it is different name with the chloroplast, it is chlorenchyma. With the air spaces, it is called parenchyma. I hope you understand. When it has storage material, it will be filled with storage material, then it is said to be storage parenchyma. It is said to be storage parenchyma. It is said to be storage parenchyma. Okay? Then it gives different name as pith and conjunctive tissue, pith, conjunctive tissue, and medullary ray. It has different name as pith, conjunctive tissue, and medullary ray. What are all? Spelling for it. This is spelling for it. Conjunctive tissue, medullary ray. That is spelling for it. Go through that. Can you? They will go through the points. So that is called conjunctive tissue, pith and medullary ray. What does it mean? This pith in the dicot stem, the center part of the vascular tissue is occupied by parenchyma tissue. That is called pith. Okay. Then in the root, the space between the vascular tissue, they are called conjunctive tissue. Okay. Again, in the dicot stem, the vascular bundle is present. I'll show the diagram. In between the two vascular bundle, the parenchyma tissues will be present. That is called medullary. So, in the மூணையும் வந்து நான் picture எல்லாம் காட்டுறேன். Continuation of this video. Okay. So, we say pith, conjunctive tissue and medullary ray depending on their location. That is what we say. So, parenchyma tissue, it is as என்னலாம் storage parenchyma, chlorenchyma, and then parenchyma, pith, conjunctive tissue and medullary ray. And then chlorenchyma, Now when I say this tissue, parenchyma, when it is getting matured by the deposition of cell wall material pectin, it is called collenchyma. Collenchyma is also a living tissue, but still by the deposition of cell wall material pectin. But at the same time, can you see these intercellular spaces? Only in those corners the cell wall material will be dumping. So that is called collenchyma. Right? In our textbook, for a permanent tissue, simple permanent சொல்லிருக்கோம். அடுத்தது வந்து simple permanent collenchyma. Here this collenchyma tissue, the flexibility in the tissue is due to collenchyma, and it allows easy bending of various parts of the plant, especially the stem and leaf, and it is not without breaking, and it also provides mechanical support. And we find these tissue in the leaf stalk below the epidermis, and the cells of the tissue are living, elongated and irregularly thickened at the corner. This is important. And then about sclerenchyma, see the diagram here. This is sclerenchyma. They are classified into sclerites and fibers. And when this collenchyma is deposited with the lignin, it becomes hard, rigid and thicker, and it becomes a dead protoplast. So that is for sclerenchyma tissue. And it is the tissue which makes the plant hard and stiff. Example, husk of coconut. And it is made up of dead, long, narrow, and the walls are thickened due to lignin, which is a cell wall material. Normally, this tissue is present around the vascular bundle, in the leaves or in the veins of the leaves, and hard covering of seeds and nest. Okay. Then we will see the difference between sclerenchyma, sclerites and fibers. There are two types of sclerites and fibers. That differences you will see in the continuation of this video session 10 as picture presentation. Okay. So we have seen plant tissues as meristematic and permanent tissues. We'll just continue with the picture presentation. Have a good day. Thank you. 10, chapter 6, plant tissues. What you have learned, descriptive video number 10 in this blackboard, whiteboard. Other we are continuing with this presentation. Now what you are doing first is classification of plant tissues. I have just given introduction. Now I am going in detail. Right? Classification of plant tissues. It is as meristematic tissue and permanent tissues. What are all? Meristematic tissue and permanent tissues. Now meristematic tissues, they are further classified into apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. So as apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. This permanent tissue, they are further classified into simple permanent and complex permanent. And simple permanent are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissues. I repeat, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma tissues. Okay. Now this sclerenchyma, they are further classified as sclerites and fibers. I hope you follow. And complex tissue, it is as xylem and phloem. Where xylem, they are further given complex because there are 4 different xylem elements. Namma the elements. Okay. 4 different xylem elements. What are all? Tracheids, vessels or tracheae, Xylem, parenchyma, xylem fibers. Xylem, parenchyma and xylem fibers. சரியா? Whereas phloem, it is as sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. I hope you understand. Hmm? So this is outline classification of plant tissues. The same with the function, it is mentioned here as meristematic tissue. They are immature cells capable of division. Whereas permanent tissues, they are mature cells incapable of division. What I said, as the cell divides, it multiplies, elongates and matures. After maturation, it becomes the permanent tissues. So we say permanent tissues are mature cells and not capable of division. I hope you understand. Hmm? And this meristematic tissue, they are classified into apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. And permanent, they are simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissues are meant for protecting and supporting, whereas complex they are meant for conducting water and minerals and food material. And simple permanent tissues, parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Okay. Now in this video session, we are going to learn about meristematic tissue and simple permanent tissues. I hope you will follow. So please listen and then follow it up. This flow chart is nice, no? This arrow or mala neat. See how they have presented. I want you to prepare one PPT with 4 slides with all these possible flow chart. உனக்கு என்னெல்லாம் PPT presentationல கொடுக்க முடியுமோ அதெல்லாம் இந்த 2 லெசன்ல ஏதாவது ஒன்று ரெடி பண்ணு. That I will add for this நம்ம இது இருக்குல்ல CCல என்ட்ரி போடுவோம்ல for that activity enrichment that I will add. Shall I? Please do it. இதெல்லாம் either you choose any topic, animal tissue, plant tissue or fundamental unit of life இருக்குல்ல cellular cell organelles ஏதாவது I want 5 PPT presentation. I hope you follow. இப்போ ஹாலிடேஸ் தானே உனக்கு வரும் சம்மர் வெக்கேஷன் அதுல முடிச்சிடும். Right? I hope உனக்கு வந்திருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I don't know when we are giving this video session, I don't know, but still get it done. I hope you follow. The next one, it is as I said, this like that of animal tissues, plant tissues, they are also as unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular, an example கொடுத்தேன் Chlamydia monas, whereas in animal it is amoeba. Okay, whereas multicellular, here just பாருங்க, all living organisms are made up of cells. All living organisms, they are made up of cells. And a group of cells that have similar structure and function constitute a tissue. I repeat, a group of cells that have similar structure and function constitute a tissue. And tissue aggregates to form organ. And many organs together forming an organ system, and organ system clustered together to form an organism. Right? Now as we are talking about plant tissues, இங்க பாரு cell, then these are all parenchyma tissue, and then this leaf is an organ. There are many leaf இருக்கு, so forming organ system. As stemமும் leafும் தெரியுது. So they are organ system. And then full plant organism வந்துருச்சு. Multicellular organism. நம்ம 6th standardலயே படிச்சிருக்கோம் இல்லையா? Unicellular, multicellular, living characteristicsல படிச்சோம் இல்லையா? அதேதான். Cell, tissue, organ, organ system, organism. Same way in animal, cell, tissue, organ, organ system and organism. I hope you understand. Hmm? So the plant body மட்டும் ஒரு தடவை go through பண்ண for 2 seconds go through பண்ண plant body என்னெல்லாம் நான் வந்து I may ask as a diagrammatic representation of plant body to represent multicellular structure. I hope you follow. Then in the cell, tissue, organ system ல ஒரு plant body example கொடுன்னு நான் கேட்பேன். That can also be asked. I hope you follow. The next one, it is about the meristematic tissue. What does it say? The term meristem is derived from the Greek word meristos, which means divisible or having cell division activity. I repeat, the meristem is derived from the Greek word meristos, which means divisible or having cell division activity. The meristematic tissues are group of immature cells. முதல்லே பார்த்தோம்ல classificationல. So they are group of immature cells that are capable of undergoing cell division. And in plants, meristem is found in zone region where growth can take place. What are the example? Apex of stem, root, apex na tip, stem, root, leaf, primordia na the leaf tip portion, the region where growth starts. Vascular cambium and cork cambium. The cambium பத்தி அடுத்ததுல சொல்றேன். Vascular cambium and cork cambium. I hope you are listening. And the characteristic features we have learnt now. இப்பதான் earlier session சொன்னேன்ல. They are living cells. They are small, oval, polygonal or round in shape. They are thin-walled with dense cytoplasm, large nuclei and small vacuoles. I repeat, they are thin-walled cells with dense cytoplasm, large nuclei and very small vacuole. But நம்ம bookல lax vacuole இருக்கு. But usually small vacuole will be present. Right? Then they undergo mitotic cell division and they do not store food material. They undergo mitotic cell division and they do not store food material. I hope you follow. Go through பண்ண characteristic features of meristematic cell. நான் அப்பவே ஒரு சொல்லிருக்கேன். Now second time I am saying by the now you can learn by heart. எதெல்லாம்? Living cells, small, oval or round in shape, thin wall with dense cytoplasm, large nucleus and small vacuole, mitotic cell division and they store food materials. Okay? The next one, it is about meristematic tissue, its location. Based on the location of the meristem, they are classified into apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. See this diagram, tip apical meristem. இது வந்து shoot apex, the stemல tip சொல்லுவோம்ல அந்த region. Then intercalary meristem, இந்த ஒரு nodal regionல வந்து can you see the arrow point பண்ணி கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. அதான் intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. I hope you understand. Now this apical meristem, these are found at the apex of growing points of root and shoot and bring about increase in length. I repeat, apical meristem found at the apex, apex is not the tip or growing points of root and shoot, shoot na stem region and bring about increase in length. An intercalary meristem, it lies between the region of permanent tissues and is part of primary meristem. It is found either at the base of the leaf, example pinus. Pinus na gymnosperm. And the leaf na picture காட்டுறேன் அடுத்ததுல வரும்போது pinus base of the leaf or at the base of the internode. That is intercalary meristem. Whereas lateral meristem, they are arranged parallel and causes the thickness of the plant parts. Otherwise, we say the girth, the thand thicker, the girth of the stem, right? So we say they are arranged parallel and causes girth of the stem. I hope you understand. This is lateral meristem. And functions, meristems are actively dividing tissues of the plant that are responsible for primary elongation and secondary thickness of the plant. First primary function enana elongation of the stem. Secondary function enana increasing the thickness during growth of the plant. I hope you are following it. So I say functions of meristem. Location வந்து நீ இதுல பார்க்கணும். Apical meristem, intercalary and lateral எங்கெங்க இருக்கு location you will learn from here. What are all? Lateral meristem causes thickness of the plant part. Intercalary, base of the leaf and base of the internode. And apical meristem at its tip. Functions another, they are actively dividing tissues and they are responsible for elongation and thickness, which is as primary and secondary function. I hope you understand. Now what you are seeing here, this is TS of shoot showing lateral meristem only. நம்ம இந்த portionல lateral meristem சொல்லுவோம்ல. Say for example, I am holding this root. I am holding this root. When I cut like this, we get surface இந்த மாதிரி round surface கிடைக்கும்ல அதான் இது TS of shoot. அப்ப இதுல வந்து இந்த குறுக்க இருக்கு பத்தியா lateral meristem அது வந்து இதுல ரவுண்டா காட்டும். இதுதான் இந்த thickness increase பண்றது. So TS of shoot showing lateral meristem. I hope you understand. So ஒரு தடவை go through பண்ணு apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Just go through. Shall I continue? Yes. Function பார்த்துட்டியா? The next one, again apical meristem is present at the growing tips of stem and root and increases the length of the body. The function மட்டும் highlight பண்ணிருக்கேன் பாரு. And intercalary meristem occupy the base of the leaf and base of internodal region. நமக்கு வந்து last சொல்லியிருந்தேன் அதேதான். And they are mostly present in monocot plant. நம்ம அந்த what is it சோளம் சாப்பிடுறோம் இல்லையா கார்ன் சாப்பிடுறோம்ல எல்லோ மக்காச்சோளம் அதுல வந்து அந்த லீவ்ஸ் அந்த எல்லோக்கு அது வந்து அப்படி கவர் ஆயிருக்கும் இல்லையா that is right. Elongation, they help in elongation of internode. And lateral meristem includes tissues that occupy lateral regions of stem and root and bring about increase in width. Girth that is as cork cambium and vascular cambium. அது என்னன்னு அடுத்த diagramல சொல்றேன். They are as cork cambium and vascular cambium. அதேதான் with the previous slide what you have seen. அது வந்து நான் here I have highlighted the points, functions mainly. I hope you understand. The next one, it is the diagram showing transverse section of sunflower stem. Transverse section of sunflower stem. As I said, this is a stem. சரியா நான் வந்து இப்படி கட் பண்றேன். கட் பண்ணா இந்த சர்ஃபேஸ் இந்த ரவுண்ட் சர்ஃபேஸ் இருக்கு அதுதான் இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டயக்ராம். இப்படி ரவுண்டா இருக்கு அந்த டயக்ராம் வந்து இப்படி சர்க்கிள்ல இருக்கும். Okay. Now in this we find internal structure of stem. I hope you understand. இல்ல நான் ஒரு இது சொல்ல விட்டுருக்கேன். The tissues, study of tissues, it is known as the study of tissues is histology. Whereas study of internal structure of root, stem and leaf, that is anatomy. Animal tissue, the third video, when we are doing this textbook discussion, I have said. Recollect. So now these tissues, they are showing in transverse section. It's a sunflower stem. Sunflower na Suryakanthi. சரி ஸோ நீ அப்போ அந்த ஸ்டெம் மைக்ரோஸ்கோப்ல பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இப்படிதான் ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் ரைட் தென் இந்த வி ஷேப்பா இருக்கு பார்த்தியா இந்த வி ஷேப் this is a portion enlarged. This is called a portion enlarged. Now listen carefully. The outermost layer, it is called epidermis, formed of single layer of parenchyma tissue. And this epidermis, it is giving rise to epidermal hair. The red labeling for epidermal hair. Right? Now root hair படிக்கிறோம் இல்லையா root systemல அதே மாதிரி ஸ்டெம்ல உண்டு அது வந்து நம்ம stem hair சொல்ல மாட்டோம் it is epidermal hair. Okay, and then this epidermis, it is covered by another layer called cuticle, which is preventing transpiration. What is transpiration? Evaporation of excess water from the leaf in the form of water vapor. Yabarka 7th la padichom, right? Now following the epidermis is the hypodermis. Here this hypodermis is nothing but collenchyma tissue. நம்ம இப்போ white boardல படிச்சோம் இல்லையா collenchyma tissue, they are flexible with the cell wall material deposited on the corners only சொல்றேன் அதனால தான் அடைச்சிருக்கு the pink color. They are all corners of each white cells. So they are collenchymatous hypodermis. அப்படியே எழுதிக்கும் right? Collenchymatous hypodermis. And then following that, the blue dot that is chlorenchyma. Now parenchyma சொன்னேன்ல whiteboard description la, as when the parenchyma tissue, they are filled with chloroplast, it is said to be chlorenchyma. சரியா? And following that is the normal parenchyma tissue with the intercellular spaces. Right? Then here one labeling resin that is there, which is meant for that resin and the gum exude agla the vapor matlala gum varula murunga maram vapor maram adella through this resin duct like structure. Gum exuding அப்படினு சொல்லுவாங்க, right? Exudating சொல்லுவாங்க. Okay, then the innermost layer, the red layer, that is known as endodermis. Following that, this again the copper sulfate tissue that is called sclerenchyma, simple permanent tissue. So நம்ம வந்து parenchyma சொல்றேன், then collenchyma, hypodermis, and then this is sclerenchyma. I hope you understand. And then xylem phloem நம்ம அடுத்த video sessionல படிப்போம். Now here we find a layer called cambium. Now this cambium, it is a meristematic tissue as lateral meristem படிச்சோம் இல்லையா அது that increases the thickness of the stem. இங்க பாரு இந்த இருக்கு பாரு cambium இந்த லைன் இருக்குல்ல இந்த ரிங் இது அப்புறம் இந்த purple color copper sulfate தெரியுதா அப்புறம் it is phloem and then இங்க ஒரு லைன் வரும் அதுதான் cambium. So இது வந்து மலர்ச்சி இது வந்து பெரிய stem. இப்போ சின்ன stem that will increase the thickness of the stem, lateral meristem. So it is called cambium, right? As it is present within the vascular bundle. Now the xylem and phloem இருக்குல்லையா அதனால it is between xylem and phloem. So as it is present within the vascular bundle, as this cambium is present within the vascular bundle, it is said to be vascular cambium. I hope you understand. And then when I'm saying about parenchyma chonnela, this parenchyma tissue, they are of different names based on the location sollirukken. Is it not? Now this portion, it is called cortex of the stem. Now cortex la வந்து chlorenchyma, chloroplast filled. The normal parenchyma tissue. I hope you understand. Now here, can you see this purple with the red xylem labeling particular? இது ஒரு vascular bundle and this is one vascular bundle. There are two vascular bundles in this. Can you understand? Now the space between these two vascular bundle, they are parenchyma tissue, but the name is medullary ray. Inner normal, anything internal structure na, it is as outer cortex, inner medulla சொல்லுவோம். சரியா? Especially in internal organs la. அப்ப இங்க வந்து இது cortex, இது வந்து medulla portion. So as this parenchyma tissue present in between the vascular bundle, this is called medullary ray. ஏன் ரேனா இது வந்து circle இல்லையா? circle அதுல the radius மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல, அதனால இது பேரு medullary ray. medulla inner portion, ray வந்து அந்த position of that. I hope you understand. And then it's labeled pith. இந்த center portion இருக்குல்ல, இது full vascular bundle arranged in a ring. இந்த roundல பாரு, vascular bundles arranged in a ring, and in the center it is the pith. I hope you understand. So this is for explanation mainly. You have to understand here cambium, then position of the parenchyma as hypodermis, then parenchyma different names சொன்னேன்ல, parenchyma, chlorenchyma, medullary ray and pith. I hope you understand. Then அதேதான் parenchyma பத்தி சொல்லியாச்சு. இது வந்து parenchyma with the intercellular spaces. இது வந்து chlorenchyma, cells filled with the chloroplast. This is parenchyma, cells with air spaces. I hope you understand. So here parenchyma are simple permanent tissues with living cell. They are thin-walled, oval, rounded or polygonal. And in aquatic plant, parenchyma, chlorenchyma, and இது சொல்லியாச்சு, எது medullary ray, pith சொல்லியாச்சு. Then parenchyma may store water in many succulent and xerophytic plant, and it also serves function of storage, food reserve, absorption, buoyancy and secretion. Okay, in potato the parenchyma vacuoles are filled with starch, whereas in apple it stores sugar. இது வந்து storage parenchyma. Right? The next one, it is about collenchyma, where இது வந்து living cell with the intercellular spaces. இதுவும் collenchyma. இந்த மாதிரி தான் நம்ம previously இந்த dicot stem காமிச்சோம்ல, இது மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு, with the purple color பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? அதே தான் இதுலயும். சரியா? இந்த கலர், இந்த கிரே கலர் எல்லாம் இந்த purple கலர் இந்த diagram. So collenchyma is a living tissue found beneath the epidermis. Cells are elongated with unevenly thickened non-lignified cells, and cells have rectangular or oblique or tapering end with the persistent protoplast. And they have thick primary non-lignified walls, and they may provide mechanical support, and they are flexible in nature. I hope you follow. This is for collenchyma. Now sclerenchyma, this one is called scleroid and this is fibered. So here sclerenchyma consists of thick-walled cells which are often lignified. Sclerenchyma cells are thick-walled cells which are often lignified, and they are dead and do not possess any living protoplast at maturity, and they are classified into fibers and scleroids. Now, what are fibers? They are elongated sclerenchymatous cells, usually with the pointed ends. There is a diagram there. And then the center portion is called narrow lumen cavity, right? Then their walls are lignified. Lignified, na, they are deposited with the ligninous cell wall materials. சரியா? And then இதை just ignore, go through பண்ணிட்டு ignore பண்ண average length எல்லாம் நமக்கு இப்ப வேண்டாம். Okay. And the fibers are extensively longer. And then this sclerenchyma fibers, they are just termed it as fibers which is of commercial value because of its length and uh, mechanical strength. Then next one, sclerites, they are widely distributed in plant body. They are usually broad, may occur in single or in groups, and they are isodiametric with lignified walls, and pits are prominent and seen along the walls. இங்க பாரு, இதுதான் sclerites. The sclerites, they are also called stone cells, and the gritty nature of the fruits. Some of this walnut, walberries, berrykai, and then koyapalan to some extent. When we eat, sometimes it is rough in nature, is it not? That is called gritty nature, is due to the sclerites present in the fruits. Okay, so the lumen is filled with wall materials. Sclerites are also common in fruits and seeds. That's what we say. The gritty nature of the fruits, they are due to the presence of this sclerites. Okay, so the difference between sclerites and fibers I will give in the QB. Okay, so now இப்போ வந்து நம்ம parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma we have seen, is it not? And earlier with this same diagram I have shown, but still after learning these simple permanent tissues, I want you to understand this diagram. I hope you follow. So this diagram, sclerenchyma, collenchyma, as it is just present next to epidermis, it is called hypodermis. I hope you understand. So இது வந்து transverse section, இந்த சின்ன diagram, இது வந்து apportion enlarged. I hope you follow. This is our video number 10. We have learnt plant tissues with the meristematic tissue and permanent tissues, simple permanent tissues, right? So we will continue this complex permanent tissue in our next video session number 11. I hope you understand. So we will continue in the next video session. Have a good day. Have a nice day. Thank you.